Hey y'all, welcome back to the Plant Plan Kitchen. Today is a grocery haul day. It's kind of a weird day to have a grocery haul for me. It's in the middle of the week, but there's a reason. I was coming back from the gym and I always walk by, or I often walk by a fruit cart, and he has a whole bunch of stuff there, and sometimes I buy my vegetables there. I would have shown you this on some of my other grocery hauls. It's basically like a farmer's market every day of the week. He's just stationed there. If you're from New York City, you're probably familiar with this, and there's a lot of other cities and other countries that kind of just have this sort of thing where it's street vendors. They have their cart, they have their table set up with a tent, and boom, they're selling their vegetables and they're always there. I think this is a wonderful hack to find cheap and accessible vegetables, way cheaper than the grocery stores, right? So I'm going to walk you through what I have and why, and then I'm also going to tell you the prices for all of these items. Now, these days, it is becoming really tough to be healthy on a budget. I'm going to have another video coming out shortly about tips and tricks to help you move through this time. There's a lot going on right now as far as the economy, as far as, the employment rates, and just it's getting a bit much. And so you really don't want to have your physical health and your digestive health and all these things take a dip because of these outside factors, right? And it should, under the best circumstances, healthy food should be accessible to every human being, but current situation being what it is, you're going to want to make sure that you're finding ways to do the best that you can with your own situation. I've done that, and I'm going to give you some tips on how to do that. But first, let's talk through what I had and why, or what I have here and why I'm excited about it. So I'll start with yesterday I really wanted a salad, and I didn't have like salad greens with me. So I'll show you what I got at Lidl. Lidl and Aldi are great alternatives for your big box, your regular grocery stores. Because their produce tends to be a little bit less expensive, right? A little bit on the cheaper side. The quality is sometimes hit and miss, so you want to kind of walk through there and see what's gonna be the best for you, right? So for example, if you are just need a couple of things here and there, that might be a great place to shop. If you're doing your full groceries there, you probably still can do it depending on, how well stocked your local Lidl or Aldi is. Mine's pretty, so it depends on the day that you go, right? If you go on a Wednesday or Thursday, you're getting the first pick, right? Because that's when they get their deliveries, and so knowing things like that might be helpful if the quality of vegetables and fresh foods is a little bit like you want to pick the time that you are shopping well. But I just needed a couple of things. So the vegetables that I got from them were these mushrooms. I actually did not intend to get mushrooms, but they were $1.24 pre-sliced, and I was like, the other thing I got was this Earthbound Farm romaine crunch. This was on sale for $1.99. This is a 4-ounce little tub. Here, okay, let's talk about the plastic very briefly. I know these are not recyclable. Actually, in New York, I have to double check. You really probably should just get a little baggie or bring a bag with you and get the the lettuce heads, but sometimes they're a little bit more expensive, right? So you kind of have to take your wins where you can. This was $1.99, and it came home with me because all I needed was some salad greens for like a couple of servings, and this was perfect for me. So I'll probably get 2 more salads out of it. I had 2 already. These are all the things that I got from Fruit Cart Guy this morning. The great thing with that is that he also has started taking Venmo and I think he does Cash App or something like that. I love how that makes things a little bit more accessible, because who's carrying cash on them these days? I certainly am not, and certainly not like to and fro from the gym, right? So that was really, really convenient. The other thing about cost is that this depends very much on where you live. Now, before I tell you these prices and before you see the shock and happiness on my face about these low prices, please understand that this is relative to me in the area that I live, right? I live in Harlem. Harlem is in Manhattan. Manhattan is in New York City, which is famously expensive in all areas of life, okay? The cost of living here is high. But because they gotta feed 9 million people, all right, sometimes you can find really good deals, really competitive deals, depending on where you go. Also, I mean, it's like the biggest port town that there is in a way, right? So a lot of things come here and then move out to somewhere else. So, you know, sometimes the cost is, you know, you can find some deals here and there. And that's definitely what I found here. An experiment. I would love for you to look at the things that I bought, research, or if you have receipts or know off of, you know, off the dome, how much these prices are. Drop that in the comment. How much are these things? If you were to do the same haul, how much would that be where you're at? Tell me the prices where you're at. I saw another video do something like this, and this was for like a completely other country, and some of the comments on that, I was like, that is way more expensive than New York City, and I was shocked. So and these being even cheaper than what is normal for here, you know, that to me was shocking. Anyway, let's get into it. So I have my list over here. So if you see me kind of peering down, that's what I'm doing. So the apples were 3 for $2. So you can see I have the 2 apples here. I ate one already on my way back. I was so excited. So 3 for $2, like, come on now. The next thing I had were strawberries. So this box of strawberries was $3. If I go to the grocery store, this is what? This is a 16 ounce, 1 pound, 454 grams, right? This, I mean, this in Whole Foods, forget about it. It would be like $7, something ridiculous like that, right? Or $5, you know, somewhere between $5 and $7, right? Maybe even more if it's organic, who knows? At the regular grocery store by me, so in this area we have a lot of food town, super food town. What else do we have? Like Stop and Shop, a little, you know, in some of the boroughs we have, I don't know, other stores. So those bigger stores, I could not imagine it being less than $5. $5.99, something like that. Even though they, you know, in season, out of season, doesn't matter. Now, do these look like the best strawberries I've ever seen? No, but you know, you rinse them off and you get your vitamin C and you move on with your life, right? Okay, speaking of vitamin C. Oh, mind you, actually, strawberries. A lot of people, when they think of vitamin C, they're thinking of citrus fruits and stuff like that. One serving of this has more than an orange. So, yeah. Kiwi, if you blink at a kiwi, you're getting more than an orange, right? If you, like bell peppers, for example, red and yellow and orange bell peppers, tons of vitamin C, way more than oranges. So, you know, diversify your palate, eat the rainbow, and you're getting everything you need. Okay, so this $3 cannot be beat. Okay, tomatoes. So yeah, different boxes of tomatoes here, or different cartons, or whatever these are called. So these normally at the other stores would be like $4.99, $5.99. Again, that's kind of the range of every single damn item. So that alone. And then these, I think you can get these at Trader Joe's for like a $3.79 type of situation, maybe, and that's on the cheap side, right? So for both of these cartons, the tomatoes were 2 cartons for $3. You could get two of these. You could get two of these. 2 cartons for $3. Get out of here. I said, I'll have 2, please. Like, I'd be a fool not to. It would be a crime. It would be criminal for me to not take those, right? No matter what I do with them. I might cook them down. I might slice them up, put them in a sandwich. Who knows? I could just like throw them in the air fryer real quick and do a little something with them like as a side. It doesn't matter. They were coming home with me. Get out of here. Okay, so these bell peppers are famously pricey, at least in my area. So each one of these came with 3 bell peppers in there. I've seen these $1 a pepper. I've seen them $1.50 a pepper. Outrageous, right? I can't remember for the life of me the price at the Trader Joe's. The price, I truly do not know the price at the Superfood Town, which is kind of like Giant or, you know, any of those type, you know, Harris Teeter, like any of those types of stores that you might be familiar with depending on where you are in the States. I can't remember the prices there because I haven't bought them there. I only will buy them from this guy or from Aldi or Lidl or, you know, also BJ's Wholesale, right? Tend to be an okay price. So I truly can't remember, but it's usually like $1 per pepper, which, you know, unless they're green peppers, those tend to be a little bit cheaper. These, I got 2 bags for $4. You would not find 1 bag for $4 somewhere. Okay, 2 bags for $4. Like at prices like that, you just buy things without the plan. I preach, like my whole channel is about planning your diet, right? And by that, I mean like planning how you're eating throughout the week, how you're eating throughout the month, and how eventually you're eating throughout your life, right? Incorporating a lot of vegetables and fruits and greens and all that stuff, right? And certainly adding protein, right? Making sure that you're having a good healthy dose of that, making sure that you're having good healthy doses of fiber, making sure that you're getting all your micro, macro, phytonutrients, right? All very important. But when you find prices that are really good for stuff that you can freeze, stuff that you can chop up and use in soups or whatever, that are really easy to go through, fam, you don't need a plan. Just pick it up. You'll figure it out. You'll build a plan around it, right? This is the one exception that I will give all of us, right? So in any case, I was really, really super excited about these for sure. And then this bag of onions, right? So you got 5 kind of large, medium, large size onions. This was what, $1.50, $1.50. Even at Trader Joe's, you're not going to find something like that for $1.50. Okay, I think at Lidl, I think this was like maybe $2.50, $1.99, something around that, right? Get out of here. I didn't even need onion. Well, I have what, like 1.5 onions left, so that could have probably lasted me, but these will stay in your drawer or your pantry or whatever for a while, right? So I was really excited about this haul. There were other stuff, so I was taking a note of the prices, and I hope I was smart enough to put the pictures here of everything that I got so far. I was taking notes of some of the other prices for stuff. At this fruit cart, the cauliflower was $2 a head, which does not happen. Cucumbers were 3 large English cucumbers for $2. Even at Lidl, it's 1 for $2 almost. So what are we talking about here? The mini cucumbers were 2 packs of mini cucumbers. Each one had like 6 or 8, something like that. 2 packs for $4. The red bell peppers, like if you were just getting bell peppers, the red bell peppers by themselves, those are unfortunately usually the most expensive out of them. They were 3 for $3. So like I said, $1 per pepper. it is what it is, so that wasn't too much of a surprise. Huge plantains, 3 for $3. That one actually was really shocking to me because back in the day, so my family is Haitian, I grew up with Haitian meals. Plantains have always, like, we did not have to wait for the wave of white vegans to discover plantains, right? We've been eating the plantains and getting our good fiber in, right? So plantains back in the day, you could get like 5 for $1. Like, it was probably better than that at some point because, like, who was eating plantains? Now everybody's eating plantains. And actually, I'm in an area where it's very multicultural and it's like just something that people eat. So, you know, but over time, things have gotten way more expensive. So that one, unfortunately, is not too shocking to me, but it's still less pricey than many other places. Cilantro, huge bunch, 2 for $1. I couldn't believe it. I was like, finally, prices that have not risen. Okay. And then, oh yeah, and then I already wrote this here, apples, 3 for $2. This was a great haul for me. This was wonderful. Again, right, with the apples, strawberries, tomatoes, bell peppers, and onions, how much would those cost in your area? You don't have to look up this exact brand, but regular, you know, thing of little basket thing of cherry tomatoes. How much does that cost for you? This one was 12 ounces or 341 grams. Right, I'm giving grams and ounces because I don't, like, why are we still using freedom units in America? It makes no sense, like, whatever. So Campari tomatoes, or, you know, vine tomatoes, you know, whatever similar type tomatoes you have. This is 454 grams or 16 ounces or a pound. How much does that cost by you? Okay, a pound, 554 grams of fresh strawberries, and I had the mushrooms, and then I had some greens over here. And that was 4 ounces. How much is that around you? Am I tripping? Are these actually really expensive prices and I'm just like living in a horrible place? Don't answer that. I know it's wildly expensive in New York City, but you find a way. You find a way, right? You find a way to be as healthy as possible within your circumstances, right? Within your circumstances, within your ethical whatever, right? I mean, would it be way more convenient, time saving, and easy for me to be an omnivore? Sure. Of course, but my ethics dictate, they don't dictate I'm any better or worse than anybody else, but it just dictates how I behave and the choices that I'm making in my diet. How did we get onto that subject with a grocery haul video? If you like this sort of discussion, hit the subscribe button. Half of y'all out here are not subscribed. I shouldn't even say more than, way more than half of y'all who come by are not subscribed. And I would appreciate it if you did. I'm trying to get to 500 by the end of the year. If you can help me with that, that would be lovely. Let's see if we can get to that. That's something that I literally just decided right now. This might be a great experiment to do. Let's see if we can get me to 500 by the end of the year. Okay, bye.